Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Natira Vanachari Namo Natira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukam karoti vachalam pandam dandavu degirim supatamam pande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Brahmanam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hariom Tatsat. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 32, verse number 30. Edat vai Shraddhaya Bhaktaya Yoga Abhyasena Nityasaha Samahidatma Nigasanko Viraktya Paripashyadi. Edat vai Shraddhaya Bhaktaya Yogabhyasyena Nityasha Samahidatma Nisangho Viraktya Paripashyadi. Edatpai Shraddhaya Bhaktya Yogabhyasyena Nityasha Samahidatma Nisangho Viraktya Paripashyadi. Edat, this. Why? Certainly, Shraddhaya with faith, Bhaktaya by devotional service, Yoga Abhyasyana by practicing yoga, Nityajaga always, Samahidatma, he whose mind is fixed, Nesangha, aloof from material association, Viraktya by detachment, Paripashyadi understands. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Deshila Prabhupada. Translation: this perfect knowledge can be achieved by a person who is already engaged in devotional service with faith, steadiness, and full detachment, and who is always absorbed in thought of Supreme, is aloof from material association. Purport: the atheistic mystic practitioners of yoga cannot understand this perfect knowledge. Only persons who engage in the practical activities of devotional service in full Krishna consciousness can absorb in full samadhi. It is possible for them to see and understand the actual fact of the entire cosmic manifestation and its cause. It clearly stated here that this is not possible to understand for one who has not developed devotional service in full faith. The words Samahidatma and Samadhi are synonym. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Chalagaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपगदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगं रघुनाथान्वितां तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं पदीजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सगनलिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते रूपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hari bol, Prabhuji. Hari bol.
हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna. How was the trip? Before you start, I thought, let me ask you, how was the South Vrindavan trip? Okay. You came.
Fantastic. Very nice, bro. Very nice.
Hari bol, Hari bol.
Yeah, and I informed Udaragirti Prabhu. I was staying in Udaragirti Prabhu to home to attend my exam. So I informed that you remembered about him all the time. You were so busy, still he heard it.
Yeah, Hari bol, Hari bol. Where Krishna Prabhu also you met?
Yeah. Of course.
Okay.
Krishna Prabhu, I met both places in Kannur and South Vrindavan.
South Indian. Hari bol, Hari bol. You are in Sharjah now back? I'm in
No,
Dubai.
I'm in Palakkad, Prabhu. Tomorrow night I'm flying back to Sharjah.
Hari bol, Hari bol. Please continue, Hari bol. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. So this verse says this perfect knowledge can be achieved by a person who is already engaged in devotion service with faith, steadiness, and full detachment, and who is always absorbed in thoughts of Supreme, is aloof from the material association. This perfect knowledge, which the Lord refers here, is about the words, about the subject matter he discussed in the previous verse, in the verse 29. It says, from the total energy, the Mahat Tattva, I have manifested the false ego, 3 modes of material nature, the 5 material elements, the individual consciousness, the 11 senses, and the material body. Similarly, the entire universe has come from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here the Lord mentions about the Mahat Tattva when he mentions about this knowledge. So we all wonder, the sadhakas of the Krishna devotees, because Krishna is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we would like to hear about him and try to re-establish, in fact, the lost or forgotten consciousness with the Supreme. But in the Srimad Bhagavatam, if we go through scrutinizingly studying, just after the first canto, second, third, and fifth canto, so much describing about the creation and subcreation, sarga and visarga. These are all seemingly unwanted for a devotee in a sadhaka stage, but the Lord explains here, because that is also Supreme Lord. Because as long as we are in this material world, we are bound to be in contact with this material elements. And in the conditioned state, we have to interact in an everyday basis with this material elements, and we should approach them in the right approach only when we know what is Mahatattva, what is material elements, what is the relationship between the internal and external potencies of the Lord, then it will be very difficult. So here it is mentioned only this perfect knowledge can be achieved by a person who is already engaged in the devotional service. So this can be understood only by a pure devotee. Otherwise, it will bewilder the person who is knowing about this Mahatattva. So the atheistic persons, one who practices yoga for his mental and bodily comforts, cannot understand this one. So what is the prime qualifications to understand about the Mahatattva is devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. In full Krishna consciousness means having 100% faith on Krishna. So one has to understand very clearly about this Mahatattva. We have been discussing and hearing about the cause and effect of the creation. Cause and effect, cause and effect. So the basic principle about them is the cause of creation is called Mahatattva. That is a cause. And the total material energy, that one and the same. Mahatattva and the total material energy are the same. And the effect is creation. The cause is Mahatattva and the effect is creation. But we also should understand neither the cause nor the effect existed in the beginning. When the Purusha avatars are being manifested for the purpose of creation, then only this cause and effect, that is Mahatattva, and the creation has taken place. And the third dimension also introduced into it for the creation. What is that? When the time factor is introduced, then the creation started. Until then, when the time was not introduced, everything was there as inert. But when the time factor was introduced into this Mahatattva, the creation started, and then everything became dynamic. This we can simply understand. The Lord, a devotee can purchase the groceries like rice, dal, ghee, and prepare a hot plate or stove and putting in the gas, water, and what are all required for cooking a khichdi, vegetables and all that. Everything remains as it is unless one tries to mix them. In the sense, the ingredients becomes ideal and nothing happens. Rice remains as rice for a long time. Dal remains as dal long time. And the gas and the stove remains as still. The moment the production is starting, the process starts, adding the water, putting the rice inside, putting into the hot plate, and the cooking started, then the creation of the khichdi started. And from that moment, the life of that khichdi also started. We can wonder, rice can remain for a long time, but khichdi cannot stay for long. Why? Because the time factor is introduced into it, and the self life is designed. It's a very very draft example. This is how the creation has been started. The Vedanta Sutra, the first expansion, Janmadhyasya, the source of birth of the cosmic manifestation or Mahatattva is personality of God. It is mentioned very clearly. This is confirmed throughout Srimad Bhagavatam and in the Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita 10.8, that says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. I am the fountainhead of all emanations. Matta Sarvam Pravartadi. Idi Matva Bhajantema. Like that, Krishna is saying, the source of everything is his from him. The material cosmos, being temporary, is sometimes manifest and sometimes unmanifest. But its energy emanates from Supreme Lord himself. Before the creation, there was neither cause nor effect, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead existed with his full opulences of energy. So when we know Mahat Tattva, we should all know that this all created, maintained, and annihilated by the will of the Lord. This can be understood in this, as per this verse, this can be understood only by the pure devotee of the Lord, because this is very, very hard to fathom. Everything resting in Srimad Bhagavatam also 10.14.58, it stated, Samasrita ek padapallava pravam mahat padam punya yasho murare. In this very famous verse, under the lotus feet of the Krishna, the entire Mahat Tattva is resting. In these two lines, it is mentioning that under the lotus feet of the Sri Krishna, the entire Mahat Tattva is existing. This one has to understand very, very profoundly. Otherwise, it is very difficult. So, how to understand Krishna? We have to surrender to him in all means. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj says, understanding Krishna is very simple. Understanding Krishna means standing under Krishna in every aspect. Since everything is under Sri Krishna's protection, Sri Krishna is called Ashraya Tattva. These two terms, Ashraya Tattva and Ashraya Tattva, we have to understand. Since everything is under Sri Krishna's protection, Sri Krishna is called Ashraya Tattva. That's why the 10th subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam is called Ashraya, because that is a Samabhanam of Srimad Bhagavatam. Everything else other than Krishna is called Ashrita Tattva. The material creation is also called Ashrita Tattva, because that is depending on Lord Krishna. Liberation from material bondage and the attainment of the spiritual platform are also Ashrita Tattva. Krishna is the only Ashraya Tattva. In the beginning of the creation, there are Mahavishnu, that is Karanadakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. They are also called Ashraya Tattva, because they are the direct manifestations from the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. That is why Krishna is called Sarva Karana Karana. Ishvara, Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karana, Brahma Samhita. So, after many millions of years, when Lord Brahma comes to the end of his life, so what happens in the reverse cycle, we have to understand. After the Brahma's lifetime, the annihilation of the cosmic manifestation takes place. At that time, 5 material elements, primarily this is what first happens. 5 material elements, namely earth, water, fire, and ether, enter into the Mahat Tattva. And Mahat Tattva then enters by the force of time. In the beginning, we said, when the time is introduced in the Mahat Tattva, creation is started. Now it is going in reverse. The Mahat Tattva then enters by the force of time into the non-manifested total material energy. The total material energy enters into the energetic Pradhana. And the Pradhana enters into the Lord. Everything goes into the body of the Lord. Therefore, after the annihilation of the whole cosmic manifestation, Lord alone remain with Lord's transcendental name, form, qualities, and parampara. In Krishna book, Prabhupada gives this purport. Earth, water, fire, air, mind, intelligence, false ego, in Bhagavad Gita says these are all the 8 separated elements of from my separated material energies. Lord mentions this. Bhumira Pvanalo Vayu Kamanur Buddhiya Velda. Ahangaridhyame Binna Pradhyastra. The science of God analyzes the constitutional position of God and his divine and his diverse energies. Material nature is called Prakriti, or the energy of the Lord is different Purusha incarnations as described in Sattvada Tantra. It says, Vishnu's to Trini Rupani Purusha Sankyani Ato Viduhu Ekam tu Magatta Srastra Tvidam Tva Anda Samastidam Triyam Sarva Bhutastam Tani Nyatva Umuchade. One who is liberates, who is getting liberated is explained here. For material creation, Lord Krishna's plenary expansions assumes as 3 Vishnus. The first one is Mahavishnu, that is Karna Udakshaya Vishnu, creates the total material energy known as Mahatma. The second one, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, enter into the universes to create diversities of each of them. And that the third one, Kshetrabhudakshaya Vishnu, is diffused as the all-pervading super soul, Paramatma, in all universes and is known as Paramatma. He is present within the every atom. Anyone knows these 3 Vishnus can be liberated from the material entanglement. This is in Bhagavad Gita 7.4. So now we understood this material manifestation, this Mahatattva or the total material energy is coming or emanates from the Supreme Lord in a proper schedule. And this can be understood only by a pure devotee. So, what is devotion? Devotion means up to coming to Krishna conscious, we were thinking that simply showing gratitude for what we get and putting our request or demands to the Lord. This is the definition we were having before coming to Krishna consciousness. So here in Prabhupada, what he is saying, devotional service means trying to please Krishna. It means to give Krishna happiness, not to give happiness to ourselves. So all our act, whatever be the devotion service, whatever the service we tend to make, our prime goal should be, and our checklist should be, am I doing this service for my pleasure or for the pleasure of Krishna? So this is the most important thing. Devotional service is the soul's eternal constitutional propensity, the living entity, natural characteristic. The soul has no other constitutional duty other than the offer service to the Lord. So we should not confuse between the constitutional duty and the occupational duty. Constitutional duty is the prerequisite to the occupational duty. Occupational duty, according to one's position in Varnashrama Dharma or in the modern context, whatever the service is given to us, we have to try to offer everything, our knowledge, our body, even our earnings for the pleasure of Krishna. If we are getting children, we are begetting children, that children also we have to use in the service of Krishna. We are bringing up a good Krishna conscious children, also a service to the Lord. Whatever the wealth we are accumulating, that should also be kept for the pleasure of Krishna. So then this occupational duty becomes Krishna consciousness. Devotional service means activities performed for the pleasure of Krishna with devotion and ultimately not mixed with any desire for personal pleasure. That is very important. That is very hard to understand and assimilate, but that should be our aim. The best way to begin devotional service is to try to offer everything to Krishna or some portion of that everything to Krishna. Like when we offer food, we must make sure that whatever we eat is Krishna as mercy, that is prasadam. At least mentally we should offer when we are forced to eat something which is not offered to Krishna. That we discussed in the last classes. If we are working, then take the result of our work and offer it to the Krishna. So our conscience should be always in a way that how I can offer my every belonging to service of the devotees of the Lord and the Lord. So this seva mentality should be always there. Even whatever skill we have to help the congregation, the temple, for the deity worship, but every single paraphernalia of the devotion service, one should be eager to do that. If we are a painter, and then we should be very eager to render our service in painting the walls of the temple or a painting on the canvas. If we are a good, talented musician, how we can transfer our mundane music to become a pure kirtaniya. If we are a dancer, how we can dance in front of the Lord for their pleasure. If we are a nice cook, then how we can go and help the congregation making a big. Similarly, there is unlimited scope of devotional service available to please Krishna. Krishna is unlimited. The sources available to please to take up a service is unlimited. Krishna's desire to receive the devotional service of the devotees is also unlimited. So everything is unlimited. So in that way, all our actions become devotional service. This is devotional service, and it should not be mixed with any other motivation. The Paro Dharma in Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, Savai Pumsham Paro Dharma Ado Bhakti Adopsija Adhaituki Aprasayadi Yatma Suprasiddhadi. What it says? It should be unconditional, unmotivated, and unsensational. It should be continuous process. Atma Suprasiddhadi. Such an Atma is always equipized, very happy, and it is always in a transcendental platform. But such an we discussed a few weeks before, or few days before, few weeks before, about the 6 characteristics of true devotionals. One who attained that kind of devotional, that kind of pure devotion status, and for them everything is auspicious. The first one is, as we discussed, as described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami, Kleshagni, That's what Padma Puran says. Aprapta phalam papam kutam bijam phalon mugam kramenaiva pralayade Vishnu bhakti radatmanam. If we engage ourselves into the Vishnu bhakti, then what happens? All our kleshas being fried out, and it becomes, that is why one who achieved the pure devotion, he never finds any kleshas in his life. Once Yamuna Mataji, this we mentioned, I mentioned in one of the before also, please forgive me if I'm repeating. Yamuna Mataji was the dear sister of Srila Prabhupada, was in Bhaktivedanta Hospital in Mira Road. At the time, one of the brahmachari prepared some nice prasadam and gave it to Mataji. And the next day, when he came to collect the vessel, he asked Mataji, how was the prasad? Was it nice? Were you able to relish it like that? It's a very normal question anybody will ask to get comment or to improve or to get appreciation in any motivation. Somebody will ask this question. But this Mataji did not answer, just looked at him and she did not answer. And after again, when he asked, he said, see, Prabhu, I never release prasad, but only honor prasad. And he is shocked to hear what is the difference between relishing and honoring. And she said, if we relishing prasad, we will start discriminating between a good prasad and bad prasad, relishable prasad and non-relishable prasad. That will lead to what happens in our life, miseries and happiness, blissfulness, all that will be discriminated. If whatever the things happens in our life is the Lord's mercy, then how one can be miserable, one can be relishable, one can be blissful, because these are all mercy of the Lord. So coming to such an highly elevated position is very rare. That's why even when devotee is someone suffering, they will not feel that they are suffering. And for sure, one who achieved to this level of devotion, there is no more depth. Everything is nullified here. In that state of mind, whatever happens is auspicious for them. So that is the second characteristic of pure devotional service, that is Subhadda. Because he cannot see anything inauspicious in connection with Krishna. If we are connecting to Krishna, definitely whatever happens is auspicious. We cannot understand what is Krishna's plan, but we should understand that Krishna's plan is always auspicious. That can be understood only by a pure devotional service and a pure devotee who follows the pure devotional service. And for such a devotee, the service to the Supreme Lord and his devotees is the prime motto. Even liberation are the four kinds of liberation which comes in front of is very negligible, and that kind of a devotee will see that as a stumble block for his service, because that sort of a devotee's aim is to serve the Supreme Lord in every aspect. The liberation may become a hindrance for him. And such a devotee is very rare. Sudurlabha. It is because we all know that Krishna awards everything for devotee liberation or material wealth. Akama, sarva kama, moksha kama, udaradi. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param iti. Ask everything, Krishna will give except pure devotion. Because pure devotion, with a pure devotion, we have seen many devotees in the Srimad Bhagavatam. They simply purchase Krishna once we get, and then Krishna is bound to be their kind of servant. So it is very rare. In such a situation, he experiences most contented happiness, blissful state. We have seen many exalted liberty, like recent one of Kadamakarana Swami Maharaj. Even in his very last days, he was so blissful. He was not lamenting for anything. He was repeatedly saying this, I am not this material body. Who can at the deathbed can talk about this one? Only a pure devotee of the Lord. They experience the rarest of rare and the most concentrated happiness. If you put together all kinds of happiness, like all material happiness plus all happiness which derive from liberation plus all whatever happiness available in this material world, put together, which will not equal the happiness derived from the devotional service. It is Sandrananda Viseshatma. And after describing Rupa Goswami, these 5 devotions, the characteristics, and 6th one is saying, such a devotee, we all know that Krishna is the name, the itself mentions about Krishna's attracting attribute. He's most attractive. That's why the Krishna name is mentioned like Krishna. And the 6th characteristic is Sri Krishna Akarshaniya. Krishna is attractive, but Krishna is attracted to such devotees. Krishna becomes so much attracted. In Ramayana, one of the devotee was mentioning in a story in Ramayana, when Hanuman enters Sri Ramachandra's home, there he could see some writings of many devotees. My devotees, his name, and there were so many devotees' name, and Hanuman started checking his name. These are all the devotees always worship me. So he was so disappointed his name was not there. And when the disappointed mode, he was looking at the list, and the Lord entered, what you are looking at, Hanuman? And I'm saying, no. Then he'll hide back. And he said, tell me, well, I looked at these are on the list of always looking at mine, in the memory of mine and the service of mine. And then, so I'm very sad that I couldn't find my name. And then the Lord pulled another list, and in the top of that is Hanuman, which is that these are all the devotees whom I remember always of their valuable service. So
only Hanuman name. Only
Sorry?
Hanuman is everywhere. He has written only Hanuman. Full book has only written his name.
Yeah. So the Lord is sold out to such amazing devotees. So that is the rareness of the devotees. So the 6th character. So in the preliminary phase of the spiritual life, there are different kinds of austerities we perform, the penances, and similar process for attaining self-realization. The self-realization is the Atato Brahma Jijnasa. The primary purpose of when we do all the Vedic injunction, that is primarily mentioned for intended for Chatur Purushartha, Dharmartha Kama Moksha. And the moksha is self-realization or liberation. However, even if an executor of this process which is austerities, penances, and all other similar process of basic qualification, he still cannot achieve the devotional service. And aspiring by one's alone to achieve devotional service is also not very hopeful. We are in the basic level, because Krishna does not agree to award devotional service to merely anyone. This is what we have been discussing about. It's not that easy. Krishna can easily offer a person material happiness or even liberation, but he does not agree very easily to award person engagement in devotional service. Devotional service can in fact be attained only through mercy of a pure devotee. Here is the very important person is introduced. The Guru Tattva introduced here. So, with one's own providence, one cannot achieve Krishna. With the mercy of the pure devotee, the various grades of devotees, the gurus, the masters, spiritual masters, it is impossible. In this connection, we go to the highest level of devotion through the parampara. So here it has become, one has to induct oneself into the parampara as a prerequisite to get the devotional service. So with how much ever wealth one has, how much ever the knowledge one has, how much ever service you do, without the connection with the parampara, it is impossible. So the pure devotee is the prerequisite to get the pure devotional service. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita also, it is very clearly mentioned in the Madhya Leela, 19th chapter, 151st verse. It says that by the mercy of the spiritual master, who is a pure devotee, and by the mercy of Krishna, one can achieve the platform of devotional service. Brahmanda Brahmide Kone Bhagavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasada Paye. Yeah, there is no other way. So the Mahatattva can understand by the pure devotee, and pure devotion can be achieved by this process, which is given by the Guru Tattva, Guru. So one has to aspire for the Guru first in the beginning. Otherwise, all our work, all our process, all our austerities, penances, following austerity. Many people are following Ekadasi, like today. So these are all futile activities. So only Guru can give Krishna. The rarity of the devotional service is also confirmed in the Tantra Shastra, where Lord Shiva says to Mother Sati, my dear Sati, if one is very fine philosopher, analyzing the different process of knowledge, he can achieve liberation from the material entanglement. By performance of the ritualistic sacrifices recommended in the Vedas, one can be elevated to the platform of pious activities, punya atma, and thereby enjoy the material comforts of the life to the fullest extent. But all such endeavors can hardly offer any devotional service to the Lord, not even if one tries for it by such process for many thousands of years and births. But in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also confirmed by Prahlad Maharaja that merely by a person effort or by instructions of higher authorities, one cannot attend the stage of devotional service. So devotional service is not that easy. One must become blessed by the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee who is completely freed from the contamination of the material desires and families. And what's more, he sometimes carries out your order as if he is your messenger. My dear king, how very fortunate you are, because for others are these favors given to you by the Supreme Lord would not even be dreamt of. The purport to this verse is very Lord easily offers liberation, but rarely agrees to offer soul devotional service, because by devotional service the Lord himself becomes purchased by the devotee. So we have to prepare ourselves to go into that level of devotion. The process is mentioned in Skanda Purana. It says, the submission unto the lotus feet of the Lord. It says, it is said that there are those who are sober devotees can offer their submission into Krishna in the following three ways. The first one is Samprarthanatmika Bhakti, which means very feelingly offer prayers. That is the beginning stage. One has to do this one. Samprarthanatmika Bhakti. And once we started doing very feelingly offering prayers to the Lord, then we move to second level, which is called Dainiga Bodhika. Dainya Bodhika. Dainya Bodhika means humbly submitting oneself. Dainya means humbleness. It's one of putting oneself into the lowest level. And then last is desiring some perfectional stage, that is Lalasamai prayers. The desiring some perfectional stage in spiritual life is not sense gratification. It is a pure level. When one realizes something of his constitutional relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he understands his original position and wants to be reinstated in the position either as a friend servant, parent, or conjugal lover of Krishna. According to one's interest or desire, one can choose from this relationship. This is called Lalasami, are very eagerly desiring to go onto the one's natural position. This Lalasamai stage of submission comes in the stage of perfectional liberation, which is technically called Swarupa Siddhi. Swarupa means our original position, constitutional position. Achieving that is called Swarupa Siddhi. When the living entity understands by perfect spiritual advancement and revelation his original relationship with the Lord, he achieves this Swarupa Siddhi. So, as per this today's verse, Lord says this perfectional knowledge, which is about, which mentions in the last verse, 29th verse, about the Mahatattva, he says this can be achieved by a person who is already engaged in devotional service with faith, steadiness, and full detachment. For others, they cannot understand this, how this Mahatattva works, and who is always absorbed in the thoughts of Supreme. He is aloof from materialization. Though he is inside the material realm and material manifestation, he is still aloof from this one. That's what Lord is mentioning, and we discussed about the Tattva, Mahatattva, how it works, and how it is wound up after the annihilation, when at the end of the Brahma's life, how it goes back, and the ingredients of Mahatattva. And to understand this, one has to become a pure devotee, and the characteristics of pure devotion, and how one can achieve this pure devotion service. Also, we discussed. Hare Krishna. Shri Virendra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Krishna Prabhupada ki jai. Any comments, Shukar Prabhu, Rajit Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam. I
Hare
came
Krishna.
only now, but you were continuing the same thing. You send one notes, no? That the pure devotion service of Rupa Goswami, the same one. You send one notes.
This is only last 5 minutes we discuss about, because devotional service is very important here. So, but generally, we discuss mostly about the Mahatattva because this is discussing about
When the
this.
Mahatattva and the 24 elements, that 5 Gyanendriya, 5 Karmendriya, and the mind, the 11th element, and 5 object of senses, and 5 Panchadhatus, and then is the Atma included or 3 modes? It is becoming 24 or 25. It's only 24 elements, no?
24.
24.
24.
5 Gyanendriya, 5 Karmendriya, 1 mind, 11, plus 5 Panchadhatus, plus 5 object of senses. So 11, 16, 21. And then intelligence, false ego,
False ego.
false ego. So
20
it is
plus
23.
24th is the unmanifest space for 3 modes of materialization. That is
So
3
it
modes.
is 3 more. So the soul is not in that.
No, in my understanding, no.
Because in the purport they written, I was getting confused. How the soul is becoming part of the Mahatattva.
Okay. 29th verse, Prabhu.
29th verse. So it is not, I know soul is not there. Because how can the soul be part of the Mahatattva? Soul is
Yeah.
Mamai
That is
Vamsa
material.
Jivana.
Yeah. Maybe when the soul is introduced into that, like the Panchīkarana process, like when the time is introduced, the soul is injected into the material and the bodies are getting created. The creation starts. That is the effect after the cause.
But if you include soul, it becomes 25 actually.
Yes.
3 modes, you either have to remove 3 modes and put soul, or you remove soul and put, I think 3 mode is the right part in the 24 elements.
Correct. The material elements and with the soul, it becomes 25. I don't know. Why should we do this one? Material plus spiritual, then becomes
the creation.
Yeah.
Prabhu, what you told about this pure devotional service, if you have to attain, I think you will have to see Krishna everywhere, Samabhav. I should see in you and everybody, every animal, everything I should see Krishna only. Because he is in every atom as Paramatma. He is in a tree, he is in the living and non-living also Krishna is there. So I should see Krishna everywhere. And I should not have any dualities. No good, bad, right, wrong, black, white. Everything I should, because I think if we have to think as an absolute world, there's only one. Only Krishna and everything is good. There's nothing as dualities. We have to come out of the dualities. And we should always know that Krishna is the boss and we are always the servant. Jivar Swarupai. And always becoming humbler than the humblest. That is, I am nothing. Please, Krishna, please help me. In that mood only, I think the pure devotional service will start.
Yes.
Haribol.
And
Haribol.
and the false ego should go completely. There should be no false ego at all.
Yes, Prabhu. And that state of mind, then false ego doesn't have any role at all. False ego will transform into real ego.
Real ego. That I am the servant of the Lord.
Yes.
And all the this calm, krodh, moh, will go because you have nothing called there's nothing desire. It's not desire, but I am a servant. How can I desire something? My senses belong to Krishna. My mind belongs to Krishna. My body belongs to Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. So, thank you, Prabhu. I think our Bhaiya.
Haribol.
Bhaiya. Tell me, Bhaiya.
Haribol. Today is Haribol.
Ekadasi.
Yeah, Haribol. Dandavat Pranam. I think what Prabhuji said today rather stressed on it, that in spite of all our endeavors, pure devotional service will be granted to us only by the mercy of a pure devotee or Guru.
Yeah.
There is no other endeavor that will allow us to attain that position. So it is purely at the Guru or pure devotee's discretion. So in spite of whatever we may do, it will not come. This is what I think today's Prabhu stressed on it. Is my understanding correct, Prabhuji?
Absolutely, Prabhu. Absolutely. You are correct.
Okay, Haribol, Haribol. So, having said that, I think the entire class which you have taken, like from Mahatattva and so many points you have covered, Skanda Purana, and I'm not able to remember. But very nice, very nice. I think for me, the most important point I understood was pure devotional service has to be, you will get only if it's
Guru
entirely
Kripa.
at the requisition of Guru and
Kripa.
or pure devotee. Yes, you cannot just get by your own endeavors, your own efforts. It's impossible. It is just not there. And the um, constitutional duty and occupational duty also you have touched today. I also like that part very much. So I remember Shampalika Mataji. Actually, I came today for the class thinking Shampalika Mataji will be there. I missed so many of her classes. Then it was nice, pleasure to see Prabhuji here. I thought he was busy in Kannur and South Vrindavan. But in spite of that, he has come and serving us. So we can, I think, really indebted to him and his services for so many, and the
Primarily
example,
for my own purification, Prabhuji.
Haribol, and the example of Rama and Hanuman, which you told. So I remember once some Maharaj was telling that in the darbar of Ram, Hanuman was sitting at his feet, and Sita Mataji was there, Prabhu Ramchandra was there. So Prabhu Ramchandra was staring at Hanuman. And the moment Hanuman will look at him, he will change his, direction to Sitaman. And then Hanuman will look down. Again, Prabhu Ramchandra will look at Hanuman. So this was going on. Then Sitamata asked, why are you doing like this? When Hanuman looks at you, you are avoiding him. And when you are, when he is looking down, you are staring at him. So what is this going on? So Prabhu Ramchandra said to Sita Mataji that, you see, I always feel he is like my son. Okay. And I look here at him with the Vatsalya Bhav. But when he looks at me, that moment, he turns looking at me. I feel he has served me so much that it is like I'm indebted to him. And which indebted has the courage to meet the eyes of his master,
Super.
So I turn my eyes away to you. This is my state. This is what Prabhu Ramchandra told. So the pure devotional platform of a devotee can be so magnanimous. And we know Hanuman is Lord Shankar itself, Lord Bhagwan Shankar himself. Okay. Shankara Sumana Swayam, what they say, there is in,
Shankar Sumana Kesari Nandan.
Nandan, ha. And then he said, no, okay, he's Swayam Shankar has come as Hanuman and to serve him. So it's a position offered by the mercy of Guru, as you correctly said, and at least we can have a desire. We can cherish that desire. I think that is the, in spite of or in addition to all the services that we render at various levels, we can cherish this desire. I think that much freedom we have, and wonderful class, Prabhuji. Your passion is also like Sukhakar Prabhuji. I always, when yesterday gave class, I always he's very passionate. And I see the same passion in you. And of course, all all the devotees who come to serve and, transform people like me. They are passionate of their desires and their desire to serve the Guru and the Parampara. So, Dandat Pranam. Hari Bol.
You are blessing, Prabhu. You are blessing your bhaiya, no?
Hari
Your
Bol. Hari
blessing
Bol.
only coming.
Hari Bol. Hari Krishna. Hari Bol.
See, Prabhu is having this Bhakti Baba exam in between, he's doing class. उनका
Yes,
exam चल रहा है अभी.
Yeah.
Wait, exam is over, Prabhu. It's still happening.
Yes, Prabhu, exam over, and next Sunday morning also there is one exam. Like it's not an exam, Prabhu. Next unit is like all students should give class, and then they will validate the devotee, the verses given. So we have to prepare with Jayamaraj Madhav, and the question answers we have to answer. All that will be validated by devotees. They will put marks, and that's part of this.
But they will give time to prepare or extempore.
No, already gave.
Then you will do the best, no, Prabhu. Research, take out somewhere. Prabhu, tomorrow's speaker, have you found out?
No, Prabhu, you said tomorrow. Uttam Daba, Prabhu, you said.
Can I ask? I
Yes,
wanted to check up.
Yeah, Saturday Kamala Mangi will take. And Sunday also we need to.
Because he wanted Saturday, Sunday. That's why I was asking.
Who
he
wants?
Can tell Uttam Dam Prabhu's weekend he wanted Saturday, Sunday, if possible.
No problem. Then we can give it to Saturday. I will ask Kamala Mangi to speak tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay.
I will ask her to speak.
Still, we have got one space left on Sunday. Either Friday or Sunday. Yeah. I will let you know today. Prabhu, this recording, you send it.
Yeah, it's in YouTube, I think. Prabhuji, can you stop recording? Ajit Prabhu?
He's there and not there.
Busy with something. Okay, Prabhu, shall we wind up, Prabhu?
Seema Gupta Maji, any question? V.S. Naranpu also came.
No question.
Prabhu.
No
Yesterday you were not there. I was calling you and you didn't come in the night. I think
No, yesterday, not yesterday. Day before yesterday, I slept off hearing this. It was on, I just slept. Yesterday I was there.
Yesterday in my class, I was calling you after the class. I was telling Prabhu, but you didn't respond. I thought maybe you were tired or something, After my class, we were all talking, but
At that time, I think I left. You said we are going to wind up. At that time, I left. So
I was calling you to come for the chanting. You're not coming. That's why I'm feeling sad.
I'm coming. Morning, I'm coming for some time. I'm coming for some time. Not fully.
Sometime fully, Prabhu.
Half an hour.
Yeah. Prabhu, you finish the 16 and then go, Prabhu. Wherever you go, please don't miss it. But then you will never get that taste. That not be that, Prabhu. You finish the 16 on quarter, then you go anywhere. But don't miss that. You are coming at 4 to 7, you're doing. Please, Prabhu. My request. Ajit Prabhu, who is not there. So recording will be continuing. Yeah.
Yeah. When we stop it, then it will go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Prabhu. Dhanna Prabhu.
Hari Bol. Vancha kalpatar vasya kripa samudaya.
His Grace Rameswar Kanai Prabhu ki jai ho. Gauranga, Nityananda, Gauranga, Nityananda. Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. सबको मिले वृंदावन धाम. गोवर्धन गिरिलाल की जय हो. Thanks, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Sanjay Kumar Patra, Prabhu. Next week we'll meet, Prabhu.
Yes, yes.
in July.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. We'll meet on my birthday, 22nd August.
Sure, Prabhuji.
But we'll meet in July. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Your birthday is August 22nd?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want you to pray. I want you to pray.
Yeah, yeah.
Hare
My
Krishna.
birthday is on August 14th.
Oh, so we are very close. Because you are my son, that's why it's 14.
It's my great.
Very good.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji,
Radhe,
what
Radhe.
time the chanting is on the same Zoom or
No,
what is the
another,
Zoom?
I'll send you the Zoom. 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock.
Okay. Okay.
I'll send you the Zoom. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.